If you want more people coming to your church events, whether it's in the summer, launching into the fall, or even ongoing, Subsplash has released 4 very simple, very practical, and oftentimes very overlooked strategies to get people to come to your church events. And I want to walk through this because not everyone got this communication email from the church communications group. So I want to walk through it with you and help you kind of see the good things that you can do for your church to help you get more people to your church events so you can make disciples. If we haven't met before, I take full responsibility for that. My name is Justin Nava. I run this channel to help churches reach more people, to be better known or the best known in their community. Because if more people knew about your church could make a greater impact. Run Nava Church Marketing, and everything in this article that I'm about to share with you is exactly the same kind of things that we do and we have seen success with, whether it's coming from church services even, or just events like VBS, community outreach events, or mission projects. This email I want to go through here came from the church communications group. If you're not on this email list, it's a great email list run in partnership with Missional Marketing now, I believe. And Subsplash did a sponsored email, but this is the way sponsored emails need to be done, right? It's helpful content. It's not just buy our latest product or check out our latest free trial. This is a good thing. And I bookmarked it because I was like, this is too good to miss. I think I even tweeted about it. So summer event strategies, it's 4 simple tips, but don't let the simplicity make you think that you're already doing it. Most churches are not already doing it. And it starts with the number one thing. So many churches I see want to do events because they want to do events instead of asking this first tip, really. Plan events that people want to attend. You need to ask the question, what does our community need? What do they want to see? What do they want to have? And it doesn't have to just be, well, they want to have fun, so let's do a carnival like we always do. Like, that's fine. But what specifically are they hungry for? Our community, we're hungry for like clean food, like good, organic, grown food. We're tired of buying stuff from the Dollar General because that's the closest grocery store for several miles in this little mini food desert we have. And so a church might find and source some local farmers, some local produce vendors, and put together a marketplace. And that's something that our community will go to. And not only that, people will drive in for it too. You're supporting local businesses, you're supporting your community, you're recognizing a need, and you're getting your church name out there, not as someone who's always asking for something, but actually someone who's providing something. And like Jesus said, if they think, or along the lines of what Jesus said, if they think that your church can feed them physically, what else might you have that can feed and nurture them in life? So take a look at like what do people actually want to go to? People don't want to go to lock-ins anymore, maybe in your community, or maybe people don't want to go very far. So your event needs to be hyper localized, like within a few blocks. Plan events that people want to attend. We did a test at a church I was at where we tested VBS versus free summer camp. Guess which one got more signups? Free summer camp, because the people need a summer camp more than they need a Bible school. Right. So even, and that's a little bit going into the next point, even just thinking about how you position it will help people take it on. So I like it. This says, as you stay innovative, stay open for feedback. Yes, you always want to be open for feedback. There's some information here. I will put a link to this email in the description as well. Number 2, kind of along the same thing, have a clear brand and visual appeal. This is part of the Nava Church marketing method, right? You want to have consistent branding. So when people see your event, they remember the event the next time they see it. Maybe they see your church. And I'm going to break away from what some people might tell you to do, which is keep everything branded the same. We're moving into a world where the church brand can stay and needs to stay consistent, but the event brand can break off a little bit. Similar to how like your sermon series can be branded, but it shouldn't like totally break your church brand. We don't want to promote a sermon series. We want people to come to church for church, not because of a sermon series. So make sure that anything you do has consistency. If you're going to do a 5K, for example, something we're helping a ministry with, make sure the 5K promotions, whether it's print, mailers, flyers, signs, and then of course online, it all should be consistent, and it should be visually appealing. Don't let it look like a Microsoft Publisher template, right? Hire it out if you have to. Number three, create a holistic promotional plan. And again, this is a huge one I preach on. You don't need to put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Meaning don't just promote your VBS with announcements, a sign in the churchyard, and some Facebook ads, right? You want to utilize everything you can. So put some flyers out there, do a radio read, partner with a local business, right? If you're doing VBS, you should be going to every daycare or elementary school program, after school camp program in the area, putting a flyer out front for the parents, putting handouts for the kids. If you want to go above and beyond, put a little, like we do at Halloween, we do a little candy bar with a little index card invite and give that to all the kids, and they can take it home to their parents. Or the parents can pick them up at the door. You want to have multiple channels, like it says. And this is the thing, and this is the one thing that I will iterate here that Subsplash didn't. Don't forget your most important tool, word of mouth. Now, word of mouth is not going so far because your people only know so many people, and there's probably a lot of overlap. So you're only going to reach so many people if you only rely on word of mouth. What the holistic promotional plan, like Subsplash puts here, what that does is it makes the word of mouth easier. So when when your church members invite someone, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I saw about that. I heard about that." Or when they invite someone, they'll see it somewhere else. So you're not relying just on word of mouth, but it's supporting that invite. So when they're reminded, they're like, "Oh yeah, that's the church that they went to." Or even better, when I invite my friend John, and he's like, "Well, yeah, that sounds like fun, but we're going to be out of town that weekend." And then he's talking to his neighbor, Jane, and they're like, "Oh, we'll be out of town, but the church is doing this free day camp down the road. My friend goes to that church. They're good people, right?" How many times have you said that? Like, I can't go to this, or this might be good for you, and I know the people that are doing it. They're good stuff. So you want to make the invite easier, and that's what I'm always saying. The church marketing makes the invite easier, and it every layer you put on top of that is just more ways that people can remember you, remember your event, and be encouraged to make a decision to go. And this last one, I'm going to put a disclaimer on. I tell clients, and I teach, I don't think I've taught it on the YouTube channel yet. When it comes to charging for events, okay, I think we have some issues with the public perception of the church. And when there's a ticket price attached to it, it can cause some frustrations. It can cause some anxiety. It can cause some misaligned judgments on the event. So let me break it down for you very simply. And I'm sure this is what Subsplash is referring to. If it is a ministry event, if it's an outreach event, right, don't charge. If it's something that you're doing that isn't necessarily like going to like be intentionally a ministry. Everything's a ministry event. Yeah, I get it. But you get paid for your work, right? Your work is your mission field, but you get paid to go. Then consider ticketing. So for example, if I was doing if I was inviting a worship artist to our church to perform on a Friday night, that could be a ticketed event, right? You're paying them to come out. You're obviously paying to open up the facility and security and all that. So, that's fine to pay a ticket price. If you're inviting that person to worship on Sunday morning, you ain't charging a ticket price for it, right? At the same time, if you're doing a fall festival and you bring that worship artist in, that fall festival, you're mingling, you're flesh to flesh, you're meeting people, creating relationships. You don't want to ticket that. You don't want to charge for that. Certain classes, right, might need ticketing. So if you're doing a community outreach event and it's a computer literacy class, yeah, you might do that for free, right? Because hopefully you have the resources, or the resources are donated. But if you're bringing in an expert, like we did an event promotion for a client, the author of the 5 love languages was coming to speak. And so, yeah, they're going to ticket for that event because they got to pay for the books he's bringing. They've obviously got to pay his honorarium. So, you want to pass off. You don't have to, obviously you're not going to make a profit. You don't even have to recoup all your costs. But sometimes you want to have, less of a financial burden. Otherwise you can't put it on. I guess that's another thing too. You could consider if we can't do this without charging a ticket of at least 50% per head of the cost, then we can't do it. Then yeah, you might have to say, well, we'll do it. Less people will come, but we'll still have the event and still be able to minister to the people that do come. The other thing you might consider charging for is just if it's a commitment. For example, financial peace. Any Dave Ramsey course for churches. People give Dave a hard time. I give him a hard time for other things, but he was good to our family. His principles helped us out for a season, so I don't have any negatives towards Dave. But people give them grief because, like, when you do a financial peace university at a church, you got to pay $100 to come to the class. And that offsets the cost because the church has to pay for that curriculum, pay for those books, and those books aren't cheap; they're high quality. And obviously, Dave's got to make his dollar on that too. And so people are like, "Well, you're trying to help people get out of poverty, stop being poor, but you're charging $100." But look, here's the deal: when people pay money to get into something, it creates like urgency. It creates skin in the game. If I go to something for free versus I go to something I paid for, right? Then I'm gonna consume that. I'm gonna be committed. And so if you're doing an event that's ongoing or requires a commitment, then yeah, maybe charge for it like Financial Peace University. And again, don't do Financial Peace University because you like it and you like the pitch. Do it because here you go. Plan events people want to attend. That's the number one thing I want you to take from this. As you sit down and say, what is our community outreach event this week or this quarter, or whatever it is, plan events that people want to attend. If your community is lonely, get people together. If your community is hungry, feed them. If your community is distracted with all the things of the world, give them something that focuses them on their creator. If your community is scared, give them something that can like relax them a little bit and show them the love of Christ in a way that's like, hey, your burden doesn't have to be this hard. So kudos to Subsplash. And by the way, we love Subsplash. We build Subsplash websites for churches. So if you're a church and you like the platform and you want to use their website, and this is not, I'm not sponsored, I don't have a commission or anything. If you want to use their website, if you want to have an app, you want to have a TV app, we have one, Crosswaves Church. And then you also want to have things like the fill-in notes, the event registration and all that. Subsplash is a great platform. And some churches will want the administration side, but don't want to deal with setting it all up. We do the setup, the design, the copywriting, everything to make an engaging, compelling website on the Subsplash platform. We don't work on other platforms. We work on our own, but the one exception is Subsplash. So leave a comment down below. What do you think about this? What's your let me ask you this. I'm always on the lookout for upcoming events that churches are doing, new ideas, new things that they're doing. Leave a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. God bless.